Hey guys, so a really quick intro to Substance Stager. When you have your fully modeled and textured 3D model done, of course what you want to do is you want to export textures, right? And you want to make sure that this is set to PBR metallic roughness, okay? This is all familiar to you guys. And when you export your textures, you want to make sure that you're exporting them to their own folder on your desktop, preferably. And when you do export them, you make sure that every texture set list here is organized and named properly to what they correspond to. Okay, it's very important. I'm just gonna hit export. Okay, pretty sure I went over this in the previous videos. Awesome, successful. Now in Substance Stager, you just want to open up Substance Stager and then hit New Project, and it brings you up to this window. Pretty familiar like any other 3D software. You have your viewport here, which Alt and left click. Holding left click, you can rotate around. Hold right click, you can zoom in and out. On the left here comes with starter assets, starter models, which you will be using soon. Starter models here, starter material, starter materials, lights, and images. Okay, and you have some generative stuff right here, which you do not need to worry about. Okay, so to import your model, let me actually do that as well. I did not export the mesh. Export to desktop. Great. Now to import your model, just like anything else, it's just a drag and drop when you have the FBX, right? Include unused materials, generate UVs for models without UVs. Nope. Import. Okay. And for some reason, it automatically imports to somewhere away from the grid, and this model comes in with a ton of cameras, so I'm just going to delete those. But you will see environment and your model. And if your model is a grouped object, you'll see the group here. Okay. When you click on the model, you have your transform points. I'm just going to zero everything out, so we're at the 0, 0 center of the grid. So we have transform, object, and animation. We're going to do animation a little later on. But right now, I want to attach my materials. So I'm going to open up the meat mat and go to head and go to material. And you can see under UV, we have all these empty slots for our texture maps. Base color, roughness, metallic, opacity, normal, height. These you don't really want to worry about unless you do have emission. But really, we want to focus on, try to open this up a little bit more. I can't, wow. Really want to focus on base color, roughness, metallic, and height and normal. So if I open up, where is it? New map text. Okay. So if I open up my textures that I exported from Substance Painter, I can see, can I do small icons? List. There we go. So you can see I have the head, the meat map head base color, head height, head metallic, head normal, head roughness. And the same thing for the body. And also the same thing for the base, right? So I'm just going to take this head base color and drag and drop that into the base color here. And same for the height, head height. Of course, I'm in that height. I'm in the head element here. Normal is right here. And what else? Metallic right here. And roughness as well. Perfect. So it automatically grays out the sliders here because these are already made texture maps. Great. And here we go. And you just want to continue on with the same, with the body, at the base, you know, this will be different for your model, right? You'll probably just have one combined group here. Now, to drop your image into Substance Stager for the 2D, the 3D and 2D photograph image, you'll just want to take your PNG and drag and drop it, or JPEG, drag and drop it. I do not have a PNG, so I'm just going to go to any starter images here, and I'm going to go to exterior table, and here we go. But the perspective is going to be all off. And what's really important when you do have your image here, it'll automatically create a camera. If you want to adjust the position and rotation of your object here, you want to go back to viewport camera. Here I can adjust, right? You can adjust it here too, but you don't really want to scroll in and out, right? Holding left click like that. That's something you want to always do in the viewport camera, where you can also add physical lights, spotlights, directional lights, and point lights, okay, if it needs more lights. So back in the camera, how to match the perspective of your background image to your model. You just want to go to Actions, Match Image, and keep all this default, and hit OK. That might take some time. There we go. Perfect. Now we've matched the perspective. Perfect. We've even matched the perspective and matched the lighting. I can rotate it back around, and I can also, whoa, Control Z, hold Alt, never mind, or hold Control, and there we go. There you can scale it up a little bit. Maybe I want to position it a little back. And there we go. And if I wanted to go back to camera, there's some other options here that you won't really see much of a difference at the moment. You can change the focal length. Of course, when you change the focal length, you want to rematch the image, okay? And there we go. And of course, if you want to go back to viewport camera, you can add more lights and everything if you need, right? This is all entirely up to you. And in our scene settings here, you have a lot of options as well. You can see exactly how that affects it. Let's see, right? If you wanted to add more lights, but I don't really need more lights. I think whatever happens here does a pretty good job. And when you're done, you want to go to render. You can have ray tracing on for sure. Render with GPU, yes. Preset, go high for sure. Resolution full. You want to export from the camera. Name your file. Save to whatever it is. And PNG or JPEG work. What you also want to do is you can bring this image, whatever it renders, into Photoshop and add even more color correction detail. That's entirely up to you. Okay. Test 01. Desktop, select folder. I'm going to turn ray tracing on because we get a better outcome. And format PNG, sure. And hit render. Might take a minute. Might take a little while because it is rendering with ray tracing, which calculates a much better lighting data. You can even turn up the samples here and turn up the max time. But here you can see it's rendering. All right. And remember, we will have a critique on this coming next class, April 1st.